right, well, we're looking at some right here. It's a Husqvarna Novo Cut 64 push mower that I got off a free list, and the person advertising it said it functions fine. I drove 25 minutes out of my way to get it, and it really doesn't seem to be functioning fine at all. See, those wheels are pretty locked. Barely moves. So I already tried spraying in some PB Blaster in some spots, but now I'm gonna have to see if I can disassemble this. Maybe there's something jamming up the axles on the wheels, and the wheels in turn drive the blades. But I've already looked online for how to fix it. I have the owner's manual, that's useless, so just gonna have to wing it here. Now, it sort of functions, but as you can see, the right wheel is not really turning. And the only reason the left one is turning at all is I already took that one apart, and I think I licked it. I think I fixed it. So what I'm gonna show you now is what I did, hopefully replicate the success of the left side on the right side. So let's see. So the way this works, this wheel drives the blades, and how that works is there's a gear inside the wheel, and as the rim goes round, it turns the gear that drives the axle that spins the blades. And let's take it apart and see what we can do. This was made in Sweden. This is where I messed up and didn't hit record. So all I did was took a flathead screwdriver and popped off the plastic cover, little hubcap. And under that you'll see there's a cotter pin that holds the wheel to the axle. And there's also a washer between the cotter pin and the wheel hub. And the cotter pin is under quite a bit of tension, so as you remove it, be careful it doesn't just spring away. I did that twice. So, trying to pop this off. I don't know. It's sticky. So let's get a little leverage. Trying to put too much stress on this. I see the gear. Kind of want to watch out not to chop your fingers off. So that would probably be bad. I don't know. Probably voiding the warranty. That's a better angle. So I'm going with the ratchet, so I'm not spinning the blade. That's a good one. As you can see in here, this is kind of janky. So there's just a plastic sleeve, essentially, that fits over the metal axle. There's no ball bearing, there's nothing like that. It's just a piece of plastic that will change the angle. So you can see, here's our axle, and it's got some rust and very tired, some kind of grease. No bearings, nothing. There is some old dirty grease in there. So it started out greased, and maybe that's part of the problem. So the way this works, you can see the teeth here match up with the teeth on this gear. This direction, it drives the blade, and it ratchets backwards. And this that's a key piece of the puzzle. I don't know where in the manufacturing process that gets put in play. Damn it. But that's what I learned before, was if this gets out of line, it will hang up. It can hang up the gear, not get the gear seated properly. So you kind of want to make sure when you put the gear back that this is where it needs to be. But what I'm going to do is grab a rag, clean off this grease, put some fresh grease on, sand this down a little bit, get everything a little nicer, and then also sand this off too, because this is a mess, and this might have been, I don't think this is why it was binding, but it doesn't hurt to clean that up too. Clean everything up, and then hopefully we'll get some smooth operation again. I'll spare you the cleaning up part. All right, so this does not move, but you can see there's goo in there. I don't know if that's just solidified, congealed grease. So I'm just gonna start over using some 60 grit sandpaper. It's for an orbital sander, but whatever works. What I had handy. Yeah, there's a lot of goo on here, which, because there's really not much play between this hole and this, where it has to spin freely on there, and that, I think, was the source of the resistance. It just was kind of getting stuck because the grease was kind of played out, or I don't know what. And there's this. I think I'm gonna go grab a power tool. This is really not how you're supposed to do it, but I don't know, I'm cheap. So definitely not perfect, but again, I don't think this was the source of the resistance, but I figure I might as well get some of these flakes out of the way. I'll hit that again. And I could, in theory, get that more cleaned up, and maybe I should put a little bit of paint on there. Otherwise, this corrosion could just continue. You know what? I'm not going to paint that now. I'm just going to put some lithium grease. I don't know if this is the best grease to use for this application, but that's what I got. So putting some inside here, so as this slips down over the axle, it'll get pushed up and I'll spin it onto there. Oh yeah, I gotta clean this up first. You can see in here there's quite a bit of goo. I'm not sure if that was really impeding, but it certainly couldn't have been helping. Just want to make sure that's on there, and with any luck I'll be able to spin, just sort of seat this and sort of spin it on there so the grease gets worked in and around the whole axle. And at some point, voila. So hopefully this doesn't go flying. Had that happen before. And this is the trickiest part, probably. Is trying to get this cotter pin back on. Sort of, there's a fair amount of tension in that. So there we go. Oh baby, I think that might be it. That's moving now. So really a pretty simple fix. Took me a while to figure out that this cap pops off, and that's the key to the whole thing. So let's give it a go. I call that a success.